Something weird's happening in 2025. The best guns in the market, they're not the ones getting the spotlight. They're the ones that showed up quiet, outshot the legends, and left everyone asking, wait, what the hell is that? I've seen Glocks get benched, SIGs collecting dust, even diehard CZ guys switching to something they used to mock. Why, you ask? Because the game has changed. These 13 handguns didn't just enter the market, they hit it like a damn freight train. Some are brand new, others were laughed at for years, and a few, they've been sitting on shelves this whole time just waiting to humiliate your $1,000 safe queen. This list isn't hope, it's the shakeup you weren't ready for. And the last one? It's already replacing carry guns, duty pistols, and match favorites, and still being ignored by 90% of shooters. You're gonna want to stay till the end, otherwise you'll miss something. Ever got blindsided at the range by a gun you didn't even know existed? Well, that was me with the Ruger RMX. Walked in for ammo, walked out shaking my head because Ruger, of all companies, just threw a punch I didn't see coming. This isn't your grandpa's Ruger. The RMX is lean, mean, and dangerously refined. Optics ready, deep undercut, rail, fantastic grip texture, and it's sized perfectly for carry, but shoots like a full size. Trigger, way better than it has any right to be. I ran a full box through it, and never once did it feel like a first try from a budget brand. It felt like a company that finally said, screw it, let's compete for real. Here's the truth. Glock and SIG don't want to admit this thing exists, but gun shops do because they can't keep them in stock. It's not just a surprise, it's a sign. Ruger's done being safe, and 2025 just got a new wild card. Panic's been creeping up for years. First, it was range toys, then match guns, and now, with the Meti MC9 Prime, they're knocking on the front door of serious carry territory and kicking it in. This gun isn't just better than it should be, it's better than most guns double its price. It's optics ready, the trigger breaks like glass, it runs clean, carries slim, and has one of the most natural shooting grips I've ever handled this year. And the weird part? It's still all under $500, and you even get a hard case with extras that most brands charge you for. I ran this thing back to back with a Glock 43X. I wanted the Glock to win, but the Prime was faster back on target, easier to control, and, I'll say it, more fun to shoot than it felt like cheating. If you still think Turkish guns are just clones, you're living in 2018, because the Meti MC9 Prime is rewriting what budget carry looks like in 2025 and beyond. Stick around though, because the next one looks like a joke until you pull that trigger. The effing 509 MRD doesn't shout, doesn't flex, doesn't care what the internet thinks, because it was never meant for hype. It was meant for people who actually carry with intent. Military roots, battle-tested DNA, and in 2025, it's showing up more and more on belts you can't fake your way onto, comps, trainers, and even special units. Why? Because it runs dirty, it eats garbage ammo, and it does all that with a trigger that feels tuned straight from the armory. The MRD variant brings that factory optics cut, improved sight, better grip texturing, and a cold hammer-forged barrel that's practically begging you to abuse it. It's not flashy, but that's the point. While other brands chase gimmicks, FN just quietly built a pistol that wins trust the old-fashioned way, round by round. You want a gun that shows off? Skip it. But if you want one that won't fail when it matters, then do get yourself this one. The next pistol? It's so new and weird that even Celtic fans didn't expect it to work this well. No one would have expected this one to make the cut, not years ago at least. But in 2025, guns like this are changing the conversation, not because they look good, They don't, but because they're showing that you don't need a big name or even a clean reputation to deliver when it counts. The PR-57 has quietly earned a spot by doing the one thing that really matters. It works. No tuning, no upgrades, just a strange design that runs, shoots soft, stays on target, eats junk ammo, and doesn't flinch. The fact that this is getting recommended by instructors and not influencers just says a lot. And if a gun like this can rise up, just wait till we show the next one. It's already replaced some of the biggest names in the business today. The Walther PDP isn't new, but in 2025, it's finally been taken seriously, not by influencers, but by departments. When the Pennsylvania State Police swapped their duty guns for the PDP, it wasn't a branding move. It was because this pistol actually ran better than what they were carrying. Plain and simple. It shot cleaner, handled faster, stayed flatter, and that's what changed everything. You hold this thing once and you'll get it. The grip texture, locked in. Slide cuts, easy to rack even when it's wet. The trigger, short, crisp, and zero slop. You don't need upgrades, you don't need to tune anything. This is a carry gun built like a competition piece, but it doesn't feel fragile, it feels ready. And when a gun this smooth starts showing up on real duty belts, Glock notices, SIG notices, everyone notices. And next up, a compact from the same part of the world, but this one's built like a tank. This isn't your typical budget Micro 9 sparse on performance. When Heckler & Koch finally released the CC9 in late 2024, they did it on their terms, and in 2025, you're seeing why it makes this list. I ran it at the range, 3.3-inch barrel, double stack mag, 10 or 12 rounds depending on configuration in a sub 1-inch thick frame. Normally that combo means compromises like balance, recoil, and control, but not this time. The trigger breaks clean, the fit and finish feels duty grade, and it carries like something that you forget you're carrying on your hip. One tester tossed over 1,000 rounds through their CC9 with zero malfunctions. And this, it comes optics ready right from the factory. RMSC pattern cut already in place. Why this one's changing the game? It's because the Micro 9 segment was already crowded, yet here's a pistol that didn't follow the trend, it reset the expectations. When you get full-sized features in micro carry dimensions, people notice. Stick with me now. Next up is a pistol that many carried for years without question until one shot changed their mind. I didn't plan on liking this gun. I wanted to hate it, in fact. I remember seeing the GX4 XL on the counter thinking, here we go again, another Taurus chasing the micro compact trend, but then I shot it and everything changed right there and then. Taurus didn't just stretch out the barrel and call it a day. The XL version fixes damn near every gripe folks had with the standard GX4. That slightly longer slide gives it a much smoother recoil pulse, and suddenly it doesn't feel snappy or twitchy like the original. Accuracy, tight. Follow-ups, fast. It punches way above its price. The biggest change? Confidence. This doesn't feel like a budget gun. The trigger is crisp, the grip texture finally sticks like it should, and I'm telling you, for under $400, it's one of the few guns in 2025 that feels like you're cheating the system. You want to talk about changing the game? This gun didn't ask for permission. It just showed up, outperformed half the competition, and made folks rethink what Taurus is really capable of. Here's the brutal truth. Most guys will never shoot a Wilson Combat. Not because they don't want to, but because they've convinced themselves it's too much gun, too expensive, too perfect, too pro. But in 2025, the EDC X9 isn't sitting in a display case anymore. It's showing up inside real carry holsters, and the second you fire one, you'll understand why. The slide feels like it's riding on glass. The trigger breaks so clean, it almost messes with your rhythm in that you shoot faster than you mean to. And the accuracy? You stop checking your sights after the third shot because the holes are stacked. What makes it a game changer now isn't just the performance, it's the fact that more people are carrying one daily. Guys who used to swear by polymer guns are switching because once you've tasted real control, real balance, and real steel, you can't go back. It's not cheap, but in 2025, this one finally became more than a dream gun. It became the standard you wish everything else lived up to. But if you think this one's impressive, wait till you see what's crawling back from the dead at number 5. And no, you won't believe who's carrying it now. This gun was a punchline for years. Chunky slide, weird lines, rotating barrel that felt more like a gimmick than innovation. I'd see it in the case and keep walking every single time. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Langdon got involved. Shooters started actually giving it a chance. And in 2025, the PX4 Storm Compact is quietly earning its place back in serious conversations. That rotating barrel? No joke. The recoil soft, like suspiciously soft. I ran split drills with it back to back against a Glock 19 and it wasn't even close. The PX4 tracked flatter, felt smoother, came back on target faster, and with the Langdon upgrades, that double action trigger feels better than it has any right to. This isn't a trend gun, it's a redemption arc, and now that more folks are carrying it again, you realize it wasn't ahead of its time, it was just waiting for everyone else to catch up. And if you think this comeback was wild, wait till you see who's gunning for Glock's crown at number 4. When the P10C dropped, it was supposed to be the Glock killer. That phrase gets thrown around too much, and honestly, most of the time it's garbage. But the P10C, well, that was different. Many years gone, in 2025, it's finally getting the respect it should have had from the jump. The grip angle feels natural, no learning curve, no adjust your wrist lecture, just point and shoot. The trigger, clean tactile wall, better than most striker-fired guns on the shelf today. And what blew me away wasn't how it shot when I was fresh. It was how consistent it stayed after long sessions. Heat, dirt, fatigue, it didn't matter. This thing just kept running. Glock never cared to improve much, but CZ did, and that's why right now the P10C is showing up on belts, in bags, and on nightstands where Glocks used to live. It didn't reinvent the wheel, it just made the wheel even better. But next, we're talking about a pistol so trusted that entire agencies are building their duty setups around it. If you asked me 5 years ago what gun defined striker-fired carry, the answer was obvious: Glock. But in 2025, that answer's changing and fast. And this pistol is a big reason why. The M&P9 M2.0 Compact used to be the runner-up. Good ergonomics, decent trigger, fine performance. But now, it's becoming the new baseline. Smith & Wesson listened. They tightened up the trigger wall, gave it that aggressive grip texture, and made a carry-sized gun that doesn't compromise like the old ones used to. Glock stayed the same, whereas Smith moved forward, and more shooters, even old-school Glock guys, are making the switch. This gun isn't trending, and nor is it flashy, but in every range class that I've been to lately, there's someone running one, and they're not apologizing for it, they're out shooting people with it. This isn't just a good carry pistol anymore, it's the first real reason Glock should be nervous. Next up, it's the one everyone's watching, the gun that didn't follow Glock, it came to kill it. In this year, and somehow this pistol, same frame, same slide, same barely tuned Gen 5 DNA, is still the one sitting on holsters everywhere. Why? Because everyone else zigged. SIG added more features, CZ defined their angles, Canon gave you a bag of extras. Glock, on the other hand, they didn't change a damn thing, and that's exactly how they stayed in the fight. In a market full of modular gimmicks and trigger resets made for Instagram, the 43X MOS just stayed simple, deadly, and real. It let the world evolve around it and still didn't flinch. Holsters? Everywhere. Red dot support? Done. Street tested reliability? Ask any guy who's carried it through heat, sweat, and ugly nights. It didn't adapt, it didn't respond to the demand, it outlasted everyone trying to replace it. That's not survival, that's strategy. But next up, Glock finally met something that didn't flinch either. You don't land at number 1 for being a decent gun. This list is about changing the game in 2025, and the echelon didn't just change it, it cracked the floor and made the rest of the industry trip all over themselves. Springfield was a joke to half the serious shooters that I know, but that was before this thing showed up with that central operating group, a trigger that breaks with zero hesitation, and a slide that feels like it's running on glass and spite. But forget all that. Here's what really happened. Guys who swore they'd never leave Glock switched. SIG fanboys went quiet. Custom carry crowd started asking questions. You can call it polymer, you can call it striker fired, but when you're standing on the line and this thing clears faster, shoots flatter, and resets cleaner than anything else in your bag, you stop calling it anything. This isn't Springfield improving, this is Springfield finally throwing punches. There's something damn deceptive about the Kimber Micro 9. It walks into the room dressed like a gentleman, polished, refined, brushed slide, maybe even pearl grips. But don't let the clean looks fool you. This thing kicks like a bare-knuckled boxer in a 3-piece suit. It's small, yes. Concealable, yes. But the recoil out of that short barrel will snap your wrist if you're not ready, especially with hotter defensive loads. It's not a soft shooter by any means. This isn't your grandma's purse pistol. But that's also why I respect it. It doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It's a 380 sized frame chambered in 9mm, and that trade-off shows. Slides tight, triggers crisp, and if you get the right model, you're working with a beautiful little single-action carry gun that'll drop rounds where you place them. Just don't expect a range toy. This is a deep carry weapon for someone who trains and knows what they're doing. It's not for casuals, it's for closers. This gun didn't make noise when it dropped, it made shrugs. Everyone thought, budget gun, polymer frame, generic name, move on. But 2025 has been weird, let me tell you. You know what started happening? People started shooting this thing and not hating it. Then they started carrying it, and then instructors started getting asked about it on the range. Yo, have you actually run the Stance XR? It turns out Savage didn't swing wild, they just stuck to the fundamentals. Slim profile, no snag, easy to run, and solid texture. The trigger's clean enough, the slide cuts make sense, and the damn thing runs. And while the big brands are arguing over how modular they can be or how many optics plates they can stuff in a box, Savage quietly dropped a pistol that just works for under $450. This gun isn't changing the rules, it's ignoring them, and that's what's changing the game. If you think game changer only means cheap and common, hold up now. The HDP4 isn't for bargain hunters, it's for guys who refuse to carry what everyone else carries. It's for the dude who walked away from the crowd. At roughly $2,500, the P4 doesn't just solve old problems, it demolishes them. It uses Glock pattern magazines, it ditches the grip safety, and redesigns the internals to meet duty use standards. It's optics ready right out of the box and built like a machine that doesn't know what exhaustion means. In 2025, a lot of carry guns talk big. Lighter, slimmer, more juice. The HDP4 doesn't run that race. It says you're gonna carry something serious. The world's changing and this gun shows it. Premium carry isn't some niche anymore, it's competition grade in a holster. Forget what the big brands told you. These guns earn their spot by shooting better, running longer, and changing minds. Some are already reshaping police contracts, others are becoming the go to picks for guys who swore they'd never switch. This wasn't a flavor of the month list, it was a warning. The old top dogs aren't safe anymore. If you've got one of these in your safe, congrats, you're ahead of the curve. If not, might be time to rethink what best really means. Because in 2025, it's not just about reliability anymore, it's about evolution. And these 13 pistols, they didn't ask for permission, they kicked the damn door in. This has been your Captain Steve. And if you felt that shift today, you know where to find me next time.